Happy Miracle Monday. This is Dawn Petalino. I am your transformational coach and I'm the best-selling author of Peace, Power, and Miracles. And Miracle Monday is where I just share different tips and different tools to help you come back into alignment with your true self so you can feel more grounded in your day, more peaceful, more sane, and you can kind of integrate your insides and your outsides to experience more miracles in your life. So today's Miracle Monday is about this notion of working hard. And I want to speak specifically to people who maybe like me, who if you grew up in a situation that you were one of the oldest children or you were one of the oldest daughters or oldest sons, even if you had brothers or sisters that were older, you were the oldest girl or you were the oldest boy. And in that role in the family, given the family dynamics, particularly if there's any type of addiction in the family, if there's any kind of trauma in the family, that you as a child were almost forced to become more mature and to take on responsibilities before you were really ready to. You were forced to grow up fast, which meant that you also lost your childhood in some respects. And because of that, there's a couple things that happened. First of all, you learned to be responsible from an early age. You also learned that by being responsible, by achieving, by getting these things done, you receive some accolades for it. And within the family dynamics, you saw on some level that it pleased your parents, it helped make things better in the family was proud of you. And so it gave you a sense of, I'm doing something that, hey, this is helping the family, this is helping everybody. However, there's a part of you that also realized no matter how much I do, it's not fixing what's going on in this family. It's not fixing what's going on in these dynamics or in this situation. And so there's this sense of guilt about that. There's also the sense of unworthiness, seeing that I have to perform, I have to be responsible, I have to be this mature person in order to kind of earn the accolades, in order to kind of earn love. Seeing, we mistook this idea that when we did these things, the family was proud of us, or they were happy about it, or they could look at us and say, good job, everything's okay in this family because of you. They often refer to this child as the hero or the caretaker in the family because it gives the illusion that everything's okay in the family. And also this child gets a sense that they kind of need to hold things together. They need to become, the ideal in the family, the perfectionist in the family. And it gives the illusion that everything is okay, even though on the inside it doesn't feel okay. So with that, there's often a sense of guilt that even no matter how hard I work, there's nothing that seems to really be changing the inside. And the other sense is this unworthiness that somehow I have to perform in order to earn love, in order to get the affection or the attention or whatever a child might crave. And so when the child takes on this role in the family, they grow up to be more serious adults, caretakers. They often get into caretaking professions. They also end up finding relationships where they are the ones who are taking care of other people, whether that's with a partner or whether that's in friendships. It's the person that everyone goes to. And this person almost feels compelled to take care of people. And that is because there is a sense of, I have to. It's a compulsion because I have to do it. In some way, I am atoning for the fact that I'm not worthy. And this way, at least I get to prove my worth. I can say, see, I did this, see, I did this, see, I did this, and I'm worthy. It's also to alleviate the guilt of if we didn't do something, if we weren't being productive, if we weren't being responsible, there's this guilt factor that happens of this, I should be doing the responsible thing and I'm not. And if there's a part of you that feels like guilty for not doing the responsible thing, for not being productive, that has to go back to that childhood notion of I have to be productive to earn my worthiness of love. And that's just how we took it in. That's how the child took it in that particular family or those dynamics. And so there's this guilt that I can somehow earn my happiness if I work hard enough. I can somehow earn my worthiness if I work hard enough. And that's when it becomes the compulsion. That's whenever we begin to be responsible, even when we're burned out. It's like we almost have to burn ourselves out in order to pull back. So what happens with this is we take everybody else's temperature, we know what everybody else needs, but we lose connection with ourselves and what we need. And the antidote to this, what needs to happen here, is that the person needs to begin to, very first and foremost, recognize, as A Course of Love says, you're trying to live up to this ideal image. And I reference a lot the Course in Miracles and A Course of Love in my talks. But you're trying to live up to this ideal image. And you think that somehow if I'm lucky enough, I'll live up to this ideal image. And it talks about in the Course of Love that you have to realize your freedom lies in accepting that you are your ideal right now. And it says, yes, even with all your imperfections. So to begin to say right here and right now, I am my ideal. Right here and right now, I am worthy of love. Right here, even with all these imperfections, even when I'm not doing and being responsible, I still deserve love, is the beginning of freedom. It's the beginning of tasting what freedom feels like when we let ourselves off the hook, when we stop punishing ourselves, feeling like if I just worked hard enough, somehow I'd earn my worth. But to begin to say, what if I'm worthy right now, is to begin to taste that freedom that the Course of Love talks about. And so a couple things you can do is, first of all, we really need to recognize we can't control anybody else's situation, that we are really sincerely powerless over anyone else's perception, over anyone else's situation. You know, we can't, no matter how hard we work, we can't change them. And it's not our responsibility to do so. We actually rob them of something by trying to take over or take care of it for them. We rob them of something. So we have to begin to say, I'm powerless over them. Secondly, remember, beyond being powerless over somebody, when you're caught in that caretaking mode, is to recognize and give them the dignity that they have a power inside of them. Our job is to monitor our own higher power, our own inner self, which means I have to take care of myself. Of course, Love says you can't take care of anyone else until you've taken care of yourself. So until I can remain intact in connection with my higher self and help somebody, but if I lose myself, I've just lost my greatest connection ever. So I have to remain intact, realize they got their own higher power. I have no control over them. No matter how much I help them, I don't have any control over them or their lives. And it's not my job. I came in this body to live this life. And so I must begin then to take my own temperature, to stop and ask, okay, what do I need right now? And to begin to nurture ourselves. First of all, if you're like me, it can feel like guilt. It can feel like, but if I'm not being responsible, somehow, that's like the kiss of death. But I should be doing this. But if we begin to say, wait, what's the greater lesson here? The greater lesson is always, am I loving myself or am I punishing myself? Because if I'm doing it to try to earn my worthiness, that's not God, that's not your higher self, that's not your heart. And that's not the ultimate lesson, and that's not love. And if the bottom line of everything is how well do I love? How well do I love here? Is love being expressed here? Then I can ask in that moment, by doing this task, by being, doing this responsibility, or does it feel loving? Does it feel loving, or do I feel like I'm trying to earn my worth? Do I feel like I'm trying to live up to some ideal? And the greater lesson would be that in my imperfection, I am still okay and I'm still worthy of love. They might not like me, but guess what? That's another hard lesson that, you know what, not everyone's going to like me. But the bigger thing is when it's all said and done, have I loved me? Because that means that I've connected to my higher self, and that will be your greatest expression of love in any situation. Once you can stay connected to yourself and then offer love, then that's where healing occurs. But if I offer it out of desperation or out of some sense that I'm not worthy enough, then I'm only feeding my lack. And to begin to pull away from that might bring up some guilt, but keep practicing, keep trying it, and just know that the bigger lesson here is I am learning to love myself, and I'm okay. So happy Miracle Monday. I hope you take this out into the world. I hope anytime you're feeling that compulsion to be productive, to be responsible, that you recognize, oh, this is a habit I learned growing up, that this was how I earned my worth. This is how I thought I was loved. And to begin to love myself is to begin to love myself however I am, with all my imperfections, whether I do or not do. So I hope you take that out into your world today. And if this was helpful, I hope you like it, share it. You can check out more at my website, www.donpetalino.com, for more resources, books, blogs, and see if there's something there that can also encourage you and help you to continue on this path. I hope you have a miraculous Monday, and I want to thank everybody for showing up, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.